and stay safe. From KCRG TV 9, this is First Alert Weather Now.
Hello and welcome to the Thursday evening edition of First Alert Weather Now. I'm meteorologist Corey Thompson.
I'm meteorologist AJ Rickman.
A little snowy out there in parts of the TV9 viewing area. Not everyone saw this though.
Right. Some areas farther south have actually seen temperatures warm above freezing today, but you're right. There are some areas, especially north of Highway 20, that have seen a good bit of snow today, and it has had impacts on roadways and travel in those spots.
Yeah, for sure. And we're still seeing that. We'll give you a little update on those road conditions here in just a moment. Otherwise, we've got more events coming up this weekend. We've also got to look at how we've been doing snow-wise and winter-wise so far in Justin Roberts' this edition of the Grower's Guide coming up in a bit.
Absolutely, and I'm sure a lot of folks are probably wondering how we are so far this year with snowfall. We've had a few small winter events, that big ice storm, of course, and many folks are wondering what our prospects are for a white Christmas. We'll get to that as well.
Indeed. But for now, what you need to know as you head out and about this evening is the continued snowfall activity. Though it has started to dwindle, it will still lead to slick roads hanging with us through at least the nighttime hours. There could be a few left, especially in far northeast Iowa, for the start of your Friday. Winds will pick up tonight too. That is another feature that comes with this storm system. That will usher in colder temperatures to finish off the work week and start off the weekend. But then next week, looking pretty good. If you're traveling in and around the Christmas holiday, conditions for the most part will be in good shape. We'll show you where there are a couple of exceptions possible. Pinpoint Doppler radar shows, again, the diminishing areas of snow. Some mixed precipitation has been taking place on the southern edge of this, mainly in the form of rain down toward the Quad Cities because temperatures are warm enough there, but don't be surprised if a little bit of sleet mixes in as well. This area drifting out of central Iowa could be in the form of some flurries, light snow, maybe a little bit of light freezing drizzle. Road conditions could get a little worse in those spots as colder air rushes in. Pinpointing the north, where the snow has been heaviest all day long, is starting to turn lighter. A little bit of relief for those folks up there. It's southwest Wisconsin and Dubuque County where our roads are reported as completely covered with snow and ice at this point. Generally, poorer road conditions if you go north of Highway 30, especially north of Highway 20. So if you're headed that way, be careful. View from our Manchester City Cam shows a mix of snow-covered surfaces and just wet ones, depending on how well those parking lots have been treated. Temperatures in the 30s with some variance. 37 in Iowa City, well above freezing. Waterloo, though, at 30 with those northwest winds kicking in. Notice those wind speeds get stronger, usually when those northwest winds turn their direction as we go through the evening. Snow winds down this evening if it hasn't already in your location. Temperatures head for the 20s overnight. Those blustery winds, though, will be a bit of a change over the next 12 to 24 hours.
Absolutely. Going to drop wind chills as well, so make sure that you bundle up as you head out tonight and to work and school in the morning. And of course, those snowy conditions are creating some travel hazards, maybe disrupting some plans this evening. The good news, though, as we get towards this weekend, looks like things are going to be a little better for folks who might have some stuff going on.
Yeah, for sure. It's creating some wintry scenes out there as well. So if you're headed out and about over the next few days, Joe Winters have you covered in the edition of Forecast for Fun for tonight.
Snow outside in some spots certainly makes it seem more holiday-like. It'll make some of your fun even more wintry. Let's take a look at our ski report. This was just updated, and again, it does include areas in Iowa and around Iowa. Chestnut Mountain, a 20-inch base, 15-inch base at sundown. Some fresh snow out there, which is nice. 18 runs at Chestnut, 3 runs open at sundown. Closed Seven Oaks. Mount Cato, though, 5 runs open with a 16-inch base. Holiday Lights Parade. This is going to step off now, continuing yet, so if you've got a chance, look outside in Hiawatha. 36 degrees, colorful floats, music, Santa Claus, a little bit of light snow, perfect for that Holiday Lights Parade. And certainly beginning to look, it's looking a lot like Christmas. UNews, KCRG.com, the First Alert Weather app, that's where we'd like you to submit your colors of Christmas, photos, videos. We've been sharing those with Eastern Iowa. Love to take a look at the beautiful decorations that you have. Begins tonight and then continues all the way Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well. We're talking about the Living Nativity over at the Faith Life Church. Great drive-through. They do a fantastic job. 5th year of doing it, so keep that in mind as temperatures will be in the 20s the next couple of days. Last weekend for the Tannenbaum Forest, that's at the Fest Hall Barn in the Amana Colonies. Temperatures warmest on Sunday. And we look at it, the Winter Solstice Party, that's on Saturday at the Robert A. Lee Community Center in Iowa City. 7 o'clock, you can celebrate the coming of our winter season. That is certainly one way for you to celebrate and enjoy your forecast for fun.
Now, your First Alert forecast with meteorologist AJ Rickman.
And there's lots of fun things to look forward to this weekend. Not so much tonight, though. Things are going to be cold. They're going to get windy as well. We're looking at those wind gusts approaching 30 miles an hour as we go through the overnight hours tonight into early in the morning on Friday. Stays with us as we go through the day on Friday as well. And with those falling temperatures, wind chills are going to be fairly cold as well. Right now, we are looking at a little bit of that snow working its way across our northern counties, kind of like Corey mentioned, a little bit of rain and some sleet mixing in as well along Interstate 80. As we go through the night, however, we're going to see that wintry precipitation come to an end. And then as it does so, we will be seeing ourselves dry out. But like I said, windy conditions are going to be picking up as we go through the night tonight, staying with us through the day Friday and into Friday afternoon. So as we have a look outside, winds are starting to pick up a little bit in Decorah. You can see the flag floating around there in the breeze. Temperatures mid-20s in Decorah, 30s elsewhere. And like Corey showed just a minute ago, those winds are starting to pick up. Reason for that, we did have that system come through today. That Clipper system that has brought us some of that snowfall to a lot of our northern counties. And behind it, we are seeing the snow clear out, but it's pulling in a bunch of cold northerly air with it. And those winds are picking up and will continue to pick up through the night. As we've been talking about, that snow does taper off. By the time we get to 10 o'clock, most areas are dry. We're seeing those mostly cloudy skies. And then by the time we get towards your 11 and midnight hour, maybe a few snow flurries pop up in some of our far northern counties early Friday morning, but those are very quick in passing. By the time we get to 7 a.m. Friday, northerly winds stay with us as well as those mostly cloudy skies. And through the day Friday, during the afternoon, might see a few peaks of sunshine here or there, but you're going to see more clouds than you do sun as we go through the day. And then another round of clouds moves in Friday night to keep us mostly cloudy through the end of your work week. In terms of temperatures overnight, we fall into the teens in Charles City and Waterloo as well as Fayette. 20 degrees in Decorah, Manchester, and Cedar Rapids. Our southern areas are a degree or two milder in the mid-20s. Tomorrow, high temperatures don't really climb all that much. We're going to be looking at 21 in Charles City, 24 in Decorah and Fayette, 28 in Cedar Rapids. Warmest spots are going to be farther south, 29 in Oskaloosa, Washington, as well as Mount Pleasant, with that cloud cover sticking around. Now, the good news as we get to the weekend, things do get a little colder on Saturday, but then they start to warm up. Saturday is going to be the coldest day we see for a while, so make sure that you are bundled up. We'll be seeing calmer winds, however, so the wind chills won't be quite as bad, and we'll be seeing those partly cloudy skies as well. Sunday is when we start to see that warming trend arrive, and then we will be seeing that happen thanks to some southerly winds. And we'll be keeping partly cloudy skies as well, fairly quiet weather to round out your weekend. As we have a look at those winds, the reason that we are going to be starting to see that milder air work its way in is going to be because of southerly winds that kick in on Sunday, a little breezy at times, and then Monday, Tuesday, they're out of the east and west, and we'll be seeing that have a bit of an impact on our temperatures in terms of them staying mild. We do keep things dry as well as we go through much of the Christmas week coming up. Maybe a chance for a stray shower early Monday morning, but other than that, not a whole lot going on as we get towards your Christmas Eve time frame. So if you're doing any travel through the rest of the weekend, early next week, things are looking pretty good across much of the state of Iowa. Coming up in your next 9, we'll have a full breakdown on your 9-day forecast, what you can expect with regards to highs and lows.
Now, that last frame there of that map that you saw, it showed a little bit of rain getting close to eastern Iowa. Is that going to move into eastern Iowa? Do you think we really have a shot, or are we still a little too early to tell?
Still a little too early to tell at this point. There's some signs that we could see it move in, but for the time being, stay tuned for updates as we get closer to that Christmas time frame. We'll have a little more clarity in terms of the forecast for whether we're going to see rain on Christmas or not.
Yeah, notice that he said rain at this
Yes.
point. It looks like it will be warm enough one way or another.
Yes, we're looking at a very mild Christmas. It'll be a green or brown Christmas, however you want to look at it, but no snow on the ground for this holiday season. We'll have to hope for next year.
For sure. And more details in your next 9 coming up in just a little bit. But first, we got to check in on what's going on around eastern Iowa, comparing it to our normals and how that may affect farming interests around the state. In your Growers Guide, Justin Roberts has the latest.
Our latest Growers Guide talks a little bit about some of the colder weather we've been experiencing, but as we look back to December, you might remember some of that warmer weather we had earlier in the month. Let's go take a look at some of the graphics, and we begin, as we usually do, with kind of a reset of how December has been. And since snowfall has been in the forecast, not only today, but the last few days, let's take a look at where we normally get for December. Usually 8.3 inches of snow. We're not going to get there. We'll add a little bit to it with that snow we've seen this morning into the afternoon, but with temperatures on the way that are in the mid and upper 40s, it's going to be hard to get to some of those numbers. Typical December temperatures now. In the 20s, we get about 7 days. In the 30s, we get about 12. In the 40s, we get 6. We're going to add to that next week. And in the 50s, we usually get a couple. Latest drought monitor, this came out earlier this morning. Here's what we had last week. You can still see a fair amount of TV9 viewing area under moderate conditions. Things are drier and starting to improve in far northeast Iowa, around Dubuque, back towards Clayton, Allen McKee counties. Here is the new map this morning. What has changed? Well, we drop even more out of drought status as of 7:30 this morning south of I-80. Now, with what moisture we see today and a little rain and snow chance for Sunday into Monday, things will certainly improve. The overall summary, 42.6 inches, or make that 42.6 degrees, not inches rather. That's what we've seen so far for the running totals for highs. Lows, about 28 degrees. And again, we did have some of those cooler numbers. Let's look at the highs, though. Told you in the beginning of our get-together here, we had some 60s. Remember that first weekend in December, how nice it was? 60 for Saturday, Sunday, 54 for that Monday. We've been in the 30s then. And look at that cold day on the 12th, 11 degrees. We do get cooler this weekend, so we'll watch that calendar kind of moderate. Wind gusts, it's been a windy one for us, too. Take you back towards December 4th, where we saw 66-mile-an-hour peak wind gust in Cedar Rapids. We're going to get windier tomorrow, 20 to 30-mile-an-hour winds out of the north and west, and that's going to certainly cool things down. Our final graphic here is our monthly precipitation versus normal. We're close to normal. You can see about a quarter inch behind normal when it comes to liquid precipitation for Cedar Rapids. Iowa City at this point, yeah, they're a little bit below normal as well. We'll look to improve things as we head through this little bit of rain and snow we're getting today. And then, as we've been telling you, and of course coming up in the forecasts, a little bit more moisture for Sunday into Monday. Full details and context on our Grower's Guide at kcrg.com. Send it back to you.
Well, thank you, Justin. And like you mentioned, we do have some cold air that's going to be arriving as we get into your weekend. Friday, colder temperatures and gusty winds out of the north are going to drop those wind chills down to single-digit values by the time we get to the morning hours. So make sure you bundle up tomorrow or tonight if you're headed out late or headed to school in the morning. Now, once we get to Sunday, we do start to get some milder air in. We are going to notice, though, we keep things, as I mentioned, fairly dry. Now, like we mentioned, much of the week leading up to Christmas is going to be good for travel across a lot of the Midwest. Weak system comes through as we get towards your day on Monday. But then, like Corey and I talked about, we are looking at the chance for a little bit of rain to work its way north as we get into Christmas. Now, this is still several days away, so stay tuned. We'll keep you updated as we get closer to this time frame. Still plenty of time for this forecast to shift around a little bit. But for now, have it circled on your calendar for the potential for a little bit of rain. And again, this is rain we're looking at, for the chance for it, rather, as we get towards your Christmas time. The reason it's going to be rain as well, things are going to be warm. Temperatures are above freezing. And as we look beyond the end of your 9-day and looking way out towards your New Year's time frame, we're going to be looking at pretty mild temperatures. Pretty warm air sticks with us. So if you're, again, hoping for a white Christmas, well, we'll have to hope again, or keep hoping for next year. But we are going to be seeing a return of some more rain chances as we get, again, towards that Christmas time frame, beyond it as well. And then we'll be watching for, ultimately, that inevitable big snow that we tend to get in January.
So Januaries usually don't fail. We've had some in recent years that have had less snow. Usually still gets that cold most of the time.
Oh, yeah. And for me, I've noticed a few years that I've been up here, it always seems like those first 2 weeks of January, that's when we get that really big snow, if we're going to get it. Somewhere in there.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to wait and see. I will wait patiently, I guess I want to say. Yeah, I can wait as long as it takes.
I'm a little impatient. I'm always a fan of snow.
Fair enough. There you go. At least somewhat. And we will be back again next week on First Alert Weather Now. We'll be sort of on a modified holiday schedule in the next couple of weeks with Christmas and New Year's coming up. Tomorrow night, we've got the KCRG TV9 Sports Bowl preview special for the Hawkeye and Cyclone fans out there. You can watch it on kcrg.com streaming live at 6:30, as well as on KCRG TV9 live there. But instead, we'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend.